healthcare in between. Physics, art, and math guide us down this path. Historical tales come alive, where science and stories dive. Blended facts with heart, knowledge from the start. Need bridge blues we sing to the future memory. Health and science in the mix. Need bridge got the fix. Complex subjects made clear. Every episode with cheer. Ramana leads the way, explaining day by day. In the world of digital streams, turning knowledge into dreams. Through the tales of old, new stories unfold.
MedBix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Hey, welcome to the MedBix Webcast. This is Ramana Anamaraju. I'm the host. So actually, I want to tell you a little bit of a background. I believe in, particularly, nurses are the best advocates for the patients. Sometimes the general public has some doubts about the doctors to be their true advocates for their advocacy for their health, because to some extent, may be true, may not be true, but it's actually that impression there among the patients at least. But they never doubt the patient, the nurses, or they always believe in nurses. Their advocacy is very important in the healthcare industry. Their input is important. And then particularly the nurses, we did a lot of research on there is a lot of tremendous research done on the physician burnout. Physician burnout is a kind of a new phenomenon, because when I came to this country, most of the doctors are private doctors. They're working for their own independent doctors. Now they are working for corporations. That's the added stress is causing a little bit of pressure, but that is a fact of life. But the nurses, in the sense that they're always working for somebody, that's in general, as most of them are. So they are true advocates in that sense. So they need to really understand all aspects of the patients. It's not some physical health. They understand the mental health, what they go through in personal life and their in the overall life, the trials and tribulations. They come very close to talk. During the COVID-19, nurses are the ones who are holding the phones next to the patients. So I'm honored to invite one of my good friends, Rajitha Bommakanti. She's from Atlanta, my hometown, Atlanta, Georgia. She's joining with us. And then after that, I'm going to present a topic on 3 extraordinary scientists. There are 2 women in there. They're kind of nurses. One of them is a nurse, actually. I'm going to talk about them. After that, I'll get back and again to the Rajitha and talk about a little bit more about their venture. But let me introduce you. Rajitha Bommakanti, she's a nurse, ICU nurse. She has been in the nursing manager, and she has a lot of management positions. And now she is doing a lot of mental health side. She is helping the patients and nurses, colleagues and peers and everybody. So let me bring her to the table. That is Rajitha Bommakanti, is the neck of my woods. Okay. Rajitha, welcome to the MedBix Webcast.
Thank you very much, Ramana, and honored to be here. Thanks for inviting me again. I have been on your show a couple times and really enjoyed. And thank you for having me come over and speak to your audience.
Can you give me some background of yours? I gave just a brief one, and if you give me a little bit more background, it would be good.
Sure, thank you. So, as Ramana said, I'm Rajitha Bommakanti. I've been practicing nursing for over 30 years in various fields, including critical care. And currently, I work as a case manager in an acute care hospital. And also, I am a national board certified health and wellness coach. So that's where I spend most of my time helping people, live a healthier life, mind and body. Because unless we are secure in our own body and are healthy, we are not able to extend ourselves to help others. So that's where I spend most of my time now.
So, Rajita, let us talk with the just before I go into mental health. I want to talk about a little bit about the your fellow nurses. There's a critical care nurses go through. I have a good friend, Susan Davis. She is a doctor of nursing. She is a frequent guest of mine. She always says that critical care nurses are so important in the healthcare industry, healthcare system. So, but I can imagine people dying on them. People are going to sick and seriously get sick every day. Uh, what? How do they deal that mental pressure? Tell me a little bit with your personal experience, and then how do you? Is there any solutions for it? And I wanted to ask you that.
Thank you for that question. So, as you have just described, right? When patients come into critical care, they're very, very sick at that moment. So, it's not just dealing with the patient, it's the families. Most of the time it's like unexpected things happen. It's not one of those chronic things. Something happened all of a sudden, and you're having to address those issues. And some of them must be young, and if they think there is not a good prognosis for that patient, and most of the time, majority of them don't have um, advance directives. So again, bringing that to the forefront with the families and asking them for that, and they are already in a distress with their loved one, so sick, and they don't know what's going on. And here they have to make this decision too. So you're here talking, taking care of the patient, talking to the family, addressing their needs, and going back and forth, and especially some of them that have been there for a while and are really sick, and you're trying to do everything you can. The whole medical team is doing all they can, but the prognosis looks very grim. So that's when you connect with that patient, and you are overwhelmed with the amount of suffering the patient is going through and the families are going through. And most of the time, what happens when you get attached to that, and that's when you are connecting, it's that energy, right? Whenever we are speaking, talking, it's that exchange of energy that's going on. So you are absorbing all that energy, and when you get so close, and not just getting close, it's absorbing all that stuff, what's going on, and you are being so empathetic with them. So that means you are taking all their pain. So it's not just one pain, another pain, it's double the amount. So we are the caregivers. So we need to be on a healthier end to be able to take care of the pain, of the patient, right? Excuse me. So here, when you are in that state, you're not fully present to be able to take care of that patient. So that's the difference. During that time, that's called empathy. You're resonating with that, and you're actually feeling, understanding, being in their shoes. But compassion is something, okay, you understand, you're resonating with that. but at the same time, you have that next step. You want to alleviate the suffering of that patient. That's when you move forward. You have to detach a little bit
It's
from.
a compassionate burnout, right? It's a compassion burnout. Is
I mean, it's
basically
really empathetic burnout, because
empathetic
when you
burnout.
are taking all of that pain, you get burnt out. You can't,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's compassion is taking a step forward, right? And kind of dissociating with that, just a little bit, stepping back. Because, if we are in the midst of all the emotions, it's hard to make that right decision to be able to. So we need to be having that step back and say, okay, where can I help? That way you're moving forward to help them with whatever needs to be done with the treatment, taking care of them with their illness. So that's the little difference. People always get confused between that empathy and compassion. But compassion is, you are driven to do. That's when, that's what nurses do.
So
It's our love for caring for patients. That's why we
that's one branch of critical care, but hospices nurses, they one time they asked me to manage hospices. I went there and I just no way I could manage that, because every day somebody dying on you, it is beyond my brain's capacity to to absorb. So how do they manage that every day somebody dying on them in the hospices nurses? They go through a tremendous amount of they see their grandmothers there, and is the older people going there and dying there. How do they that pressure really manifest into, what kind of things manifest into that for that pressures? How do
and
they turn it? Is it affects the family life, or what kind of thing? Just let us focus on the problem first, and then we can talk about solutions. That's
yeah.
what I'm asking you.
Yeah, so as you said, it is very tough when you see, patients. Being a hospice nurse, that's what is going to happen. No matter how much how much you're prepared, when you see that going through, because you are not only caring for the patient, you're caring for the whole family. Hospice is about taking care of the family too, and the family needs. So it does drain the person. It really drains them, because they do carry some of those emotions and bring it back home. So it does affect them. That's the reason those nurses really have to be very resilient from inside to build that strength, to be able to take care, have that detachment again. When you have that detachment, you're not so, you know, entangled in those emotions. You are there to understand their emotions, being supportive and all that, but it does drain them quite a bit. There is a lot of drain happening, with that, at the same time. And sometimes during that phase also, a lot of family dramas happen. Some families that they don't agree. So here you are in the middle trying to do the best for the patient, and then same thing happens in ICU too. Then you have different family members that don't agree, so you're bouncing from family member to family member, trying to get the information out to address the needs of the patient.
Let us switch to a little bit of a two other. There's a three people there in the whole care system. The nurses, doctors, and patients. Let's talk about doctors. Doctors don't come. They have this egoism. Probably they don't come. They don't seek help. That can be problem in the overall. It may manifest into different kind of situations in the exam room, right?
Yeah, yeah, because anytime, that's any healthcare provider, right? Like nurses, doctors, and all of that, then we are there just giving, taking care of them. At the same time, we need to take care of our own self. If we don't seek help for us,
Yeah.
we are constantly giving, giving. At some point, it's empty.
Yeah.
You cannot pour out of an empty cup. So that's the reason we need to first take care of ourselves to be able to take care of our patients.
Let us talk about that third party, which is the patients. What they go through, families and themselves, chronic conditions, all kind of. They have their own tragedies going on in their life, and how do they deal? What are the challenges they face?
The families, it's really tough with the patients and the families, because especially, even if it is a chronic condition, and especially if it's acute, or a younger patient or something like that, that's even harder, because they're like, okay, all of a sudden, what happened to me? I was fine, I was walking around, and where did this come from? Nowhere, it hit me. And they go through a lot of turmoil. It's like sometimes some of them have like near death situation. They're like, okay, I just went to the doctor for a regular, one of my patients, 80-year-old, I just went to the doctor for regular annual physical, and I was told I cannot go home, I need to be admitted in the hospital,
Mm,
and I needed bypass surgery,
mm.
and I have been living a healthy life. According to that patient, he has always been living a healthy life. And where did this come from all of a sudden? And I was so sick, I didn't think I would make it. So these are all the things that are going. And even after the surgery, when they come out of it, they do face some mental challenges. It's like, okay, I had that near death experience. And especially when they don't have strong family support, that makes it even challenging for them when they don't have that much, you know, what happened. And again, everybody's definition of living healthy is different. You know, it affects our body, even though we are physically healthy, it also mental, what type of stress you have been going through and all of those. It's a holistic approach. Everything does take role in your illness.
So
So
let us talk about the holistic approach. So what is that you came from India, you adopted some of the Eastern traditions a little bit. So what are that holistic approach that you have to address this kind of, because in a Western world they do one way, and then you can mix with the both of them. You have a Western education and then Eastern influence you have. So how do you mix them and then come back with a good solution for these patients, doctors, nurses? What are the solutions there?
it's about really addressing all the components, including the mental component, because it's like, you know we think that, okay, physical symptoms happen, right? Maybe most of them think, okay, all of a sudden it happened, I was living healthy, what happened, why did it happen? Majority of our conditions, it has been brewing for last 10 years or more. And where does that start? It starts with our thoughts. It start, whatever we are thinking, it's, our brain cannot differentiate between real and imagined. So whatever, like, let's say, before olden age, way back, when we were hunter
Can you
gatherer.
repeat? Can you repeat that? I love that. Brain cannot distinguish between the imaginary things and the real things. Sometimes they get mixed up. That's a big problem. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, because it's like, you could be thinking, okay, just hypothetically, you can say, okay, my boss is always, going to get me. It's like that stress you have going to work. It's like, no matter what I do, I am never good enough.
Yeah.
All of that. So you have that. So that threat is going on. So you are in that fight or flight mode constantly. Before, when we were hunter gatherers, when we were being chased by a wild animal, tiger, something like that, you run, and once you get to the safety mode, then you calm down and it's gone. Here, nowadays, in our lifestyle, We are constantly in this mode of stress, one or the other. Something or the other, we are constantly brewing in our head. It's going on and on and on. That never stops.
This is a sympathetic system on the full steroids, basically.
Full,
It
full
is a full
steroid
gear on the
right up.
sympathetic
Yep.
system.
Yep.
So, what are the solutions you have for that kind of people, including me, or the whole world right now? They're all under the pressures of that sympathetic pressures right now. So, what are the solutions you can propose?
It's about balancing, yes, not all sympathetic is bad, right? It's about balancing sympathetic and parasympathetic, trying to get more on the parasympathetic side of it. So how do we do that? It's doing different practices of, you know meditation, breath work, eating a more plant predominant diet, and also singing, dancing, play. As we get, into adulthood, we get too serious about everything. We don't let our guard down. So all these different things gets that into that parasympathetic mode, toning that vagus nerve, getting that into that parasympathetic tone.
You
So
mentioned vagus nerve. Can you explain what is a vagus nerve is?
vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve that is also called as the wandering nerve. So it kind of goes and branches out into all the different areas, like into our facial muscles, our ears, our throat. It pierces down through the diaphragm, it goes into the abdominal area. So, again, so those are the simple things like smiling, kind of that helps. And the tone, the singing, the chanting, and also, um, you know, when the food that you're eating, the type of food that you're eating, the breathing. Breathing is a big thing. Breath work is huge, kind of slowing that down. So, meditation, all of
Let us talk about breath work a little bit. Somebody was telling me this is a very interesting thought that if you have a circular breath that you practice it, it's almost like hallucinogenic effect it has on the brain. Is it vagus nerve or something that it does affect? It brings you into the different experience itself.
Well, not immediately, but it does tone, it does calm. When we are in a high stress situation, or, before, like, even like, let's say you got an email that you were not comfortable with, the kind of a threatening one, the good idea is, okay, look at that, take a few deep breaths in, slow deep breaths. One of the popular ones is, there are several ways of doing breath work. One is called square breathing. You slowly inhale for the count of four, hold for a count of four, and slowly exhale for a count of four, hold for a count of four, then inhale. Just doing that about 4 to 5 times really calms you down, gets you clarity of mind. Then you can respond.
What is a physiological effect on the is it a parasympathetic system kicks
It's the
in?
parasympathetic system kicks in with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the parasympathetic system kicks in. So you are much more calmer, your clarity, you because most of the time when we are in that state, we respond, so much emotions are getting in there. So here you're calming yourself down so that you're able to respond in clarity.
You mentioned nutrition a little bit. The food, yeah, taking the food. We all make a biggest mistakes. Yeah, I'm from Andhra. I eat too much rice. It's so hard for me to not to eat rice. I control it now is because of my situation. So how do that food plays a role in this whole game of
The
the mental
food,
peace and physical health?
yeah, I'm sure you have heard, everything start. Food is medicine, right? Um, the food that we eat, as long as we stick to natural food, that means more plants, more vegetables, more fruits, whole grains, beans, legumes. Um, these are the things, these are high fiber foods. So our body needs that fiber. Our gut needs the fiber, the bacteria. So again, we need to keep that gut healthy. If you I'm sure you've heard the gut brain connection.
Mhm.
So that's that bidirectional connection going on. And 90% of our serotonin is in our gut. So we need to keep that gut healthy so that we have that feel good hormone, the motivation to do things. And that keeps, the nutritional content, our blood sugars are much more controlled when our blood sugars are wacky all over the place when we are eating high sugary processed foods, when they are going up and down. That's when we have lots of mood swings. And those are primarily have very little fiber, not much. So those are the bigger things that we do need to focus on. Trying to, though, that's just like a little scratch on surface about that. So as long as we do that, that again, whole grains, you said rice, but yes, you can have some rice, but at the same time other whole grains, we have plenty of other whole grains like millets, quinoa, barley, things like that. So yes, we have been grown up in a certain way and we are used to that kind of food, right? But at the same time, if you have set that intention and have a goal, then at least for 2 to 3 weeks, over time, your taste buds will change. And
Well,
you,
Rajita, I'm going to take you to a period that back to the 1800s, where the only natural food they're eating. After that, I come back and ask you what is your program is and how do you, what kind of a programs you suggest to the people, and then what kind of classes they can take it from you and or your website. We will talk about that. Let me, you and me, and watch together, and if we can jump in anytime you, if you want to make comment on that one, just give me heads up on that, no problem at all. You can, this is a, I'm going to talk about, this is a, oh yeah, this I, well, a little bit I have to guess all those things. I'm going to talk about, today is a November 7th birthday of a three extraordinary scientists. You know, one is from Austria, other is from France, and one is from India. That is a three extraordinary scientists. I'm going to talk about it. So actually, this is a small story. I'm going to tell you. There's a Litvinko, is a scientist, is a KGB spy. He was drinking a tea. So he was offered a tea in a London hospital. He was a defector from Russia. He got offered that tea. After taking the tea, immediately he felt sick. Okay, in the hotel, the London hotel, he was taking the tea, and then he got immediately sick. After that, what happened was, let me then he immediately he got started vomiting. He got the hair loss, nausea. These are all the classic symptoms of radiation poisoning. That is the Litvinko. Then within 14 days, what they did was they suspected radiation poisoning. They dropped a silver plate inside the stomach because they could not find anything other than that it must be ingested with the tea. So they found out with what they do is this silver plate absorbs alpha radiation. Alpha particles don't go too far, so they can go very short distances. But that's what he consumed. And then Geiger counter, they drop through Geiger counter, they measure the alpha radiation, and he was certainly poisoned by Russian spy. Was poisoned. He was poisoned by KGB. That's what they say completely. Is a It is a guessing game. The British government complained about that. Within a month he died. So there is another story in the same time, more or less in 1917. This is my father used to have, we had a watch like this. Is a clock in my hometown, my village, that radium clocks. You can see in the nighttime the radium. What they did was, they were at the time, Radium Corporation hired girls from New Jersey, Orange, New Jersey. A lot of women used to work there. They call them the West Orange, New Jersey. they were manufacturing these radium watches. What these watches do, what they like about it is different. That what is they do is, uh, what they do is they take the radium, they set that in lip dip, and they do that is a better. It comes a finer, it looks smoother for the with the touch with the lips, and then it becomes a smoother the brush. So there is another guy. He thought that radium water they used to sell for 99 cents is a better sexual health. That's what they thought. That guy, all of them are. Unfortunately, they went through radium jaw. All these women, they have a narcosis on the depth of the jaw. Part of the jaw was really a beautiful woman. They went into the jaw bones. They dropped off, and then they have a cancer. And they went through humongous thing with this radium girls. They used to be called radium girls. Um, Lower and upper jaw because they're dipping in the with the brush with the radium. At that time, people they know, scientists know about it. They all warned about it, but corporations kept it under the rugs, and they didn't tell the. That's where they sued the occupational medicine came out after that. Actually, they sued the government, they sued the corporation, and it came out, and they got very small amount, $10,000 or something. They got very peanuts, but they paid with their lives. So it is a occupational medicine. The department started after that. The department started because of the radium girls in the what went through. That Eben Bayer died actually after with I don't know how much he has a fun, but he died. Is a golf player. So one is a polonium. The guy who is the guy Russian KGB spy died with a polonium poisoning. The other one is radium poisoning. These are both are discovered by Mary Salowski Curie. Mary Curie discovered them. So she's a Polish born, 1867 she was born. So she is the discoverer of the dangerous things. But actually she was the right intention she had. So radium actually used for cancer at the time. Cancer treating is particularly breast cancer. They put the radium tablets on the cancer itself. So I'm a nuclear physicist, and I know very well how they do these kind of things. And it's a radium that the particles go there and they destroy the but it can also destroy the good cells too. So I'm talking about three extraordinary people who really did this. One is Mary Curie. She did that polonium and radium. Radium hospitals were very popular actually, for a long time. In the New York Sloan Kettering, one of the famous cancer hospital is to be called radium hospital. They use a lot of radium from used to cure cancers. C.V. Raman, I'm going to talk about it. Then there's Lisa Meitner. She is also a physicist, and she actually invented the atom bomb. They're all born on the same day. Today is their birthday, November 7th. All of them. That's why I was talking about that. Let me bring a little bit of I'm going to introduce you a little bit of a video, quick video of C.V. Raman, and then let me.
His name is Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman. He was born in Tiruchirappalli, state of Tamil Nadu, India. His name is long with numerous alphabets, but get used for it, because the next few decades belongs to this man. He is descending from heavens to destroy cancer. Just not cancer, he is omnipresent in every field: science, medicine, technology, engineering, and even theology. Welcome to the world of Raman gadgets. Raman probe. Point Raman probe to anyone and just click flash, just as you do on your phone. It gives instant result that person has a cancer or not. No elaborate testing, no other diagnostic testing required. Cancer detection in seconds. Raman pen. Raman pen, point and click at the finger and tell you the blood sugar levels instant. No more shedding of blood drops by millions of diabetic patients. Raman scanner. Just place your hand gently on the Pharmanex Raman scanner. It gives you the fruit and vegetable intake and in correlation with the antioxidant activity in your body. By monitoring antioxidant levels may help you to prevent some diseases. Raman inspector. Raman Inspector, and a handheld instrument, is an invaluable tool for law enforcement. Just point and click, it identifies the counterfeit drugs. Just point and click and can tell you it is a cocaine or any other illegal substance on the spot. No labs, no other testing required. Just point and click and can tell you right there if it is a hair gel or explosive material in the container without opening it. Raman Reporter, just point and click and instantly tell you if that is a true Picasso or not. No other verification required. This is done deal. It is just taught. Raman optical tweezers, Raman microscope, Raman true narc, Raman imaging, Raman hyper, Raman transition, the list goes on. His name is truly omnipresent. This is not a science fiction. This is an extraordinary brilliance of a strikingly tall and dark handsome man from 19th century India. Hello, my name is Ramana Anamaraju and I have a passion for physics, specialized in allied healthcare and above all concern for all well-being of humanity. Sir Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman, usually referred as C.V. Raman, was born in 1888 near Chennai, India, and died in 1970. He discovered groundbreaking quantum phenomena in the field of optics while he was working as a professor of physics at University of Calcutta, India. He was knighted in 1929 by Queen of England and awarded Nobel Prize in 1930, first non-Caucasian ever to win in the field of science. His discovery is called Raman effect or Raman spectroscopy or Raman scattering, which are named after him. We only see objects, including people, when light falls on them and reflect back to our eye. But once in a while, the reflected light also gives stunning details about the molecular and atomic structure of the reflected matter, like a rotational and vibrational energies of the molecules or atoms. This unique reflection was discovered by C.V. Raman and it is referred as a Raman scattering, along with few other names. With humans, Raman scattering gives exquisite details about the cell structure and its function like no other modality we ever seen before. Raman effect is the only way you can identify rotten apple from real ones without touching, smelling or cutting. This non-destructive method is unique to Raman discovery, so thus makes an invaluable tool in the field of medical diagnostics without exposure to any radiation. A perfect tool for law enforcement without opening containers to check for explosives. A perfect method to check the authenticity of the age-old art without using any chemicals. Raman scattering analyzes vibrational and rotational spectra of the target material by using a non-destructive method. Cancer. At present, one of the most advanced methods of detecting cancer is through positron emission tomography, referred as a PET scan. This highly expensive and complicated equipment occupies 10,000 square foot office building or placed on 18-wheelers. The average cost for this procedure is around $4,000. Imagine exam that combines into a single scan the diagnostic imaging power of 10 PET studies, each measuring an essential dimension of cancer's aggressiveness, metastatic potential, and susceptibility to the radio and chemotherapy at the cost less than $25. Raman spectrometer, handheld Raman spectrometer can deliver that punch with a style. By attaching gold nanoparticles to the cancer cells, Raman spectrometer hunts every one of the cancer cells, identifies them and kills them with a nano-heated guided missiles. Well-respected magazine Diagnostic Imaging describes Raman spectroscopy, a quantum physics technique puts all preceding medical imaging modalities to shame. Raman, the cancer avenger, descended from heavens to rescue mankind from this fatal disease. Raman puts cancer detection is at our fingertips, figuratively and literally. C.V. Raman may be Hindu, but his discovery recanted the rituals in the church that happened centuries ago during early Christianity with stunning details. Santorio delle Peregrina, 13th century historical church sitting near beautiful Cantabrian mountains in Spain. The church completely lost its original Romanesque Mudajar brick architecture through centuries of rituals and tourism. It is impossible to recreate the original architecture with all its colors and beauty since there was no historical data available. Raman spectroscopy came as a surprise savior for the church. Raman spectroscopy took layer by layer the centuries of environmental destruction, the dust left by oil lamps in 13th century rituals, natural decay of the bricks. Raman's Raman spectroscopy brought back the original image of the architecture with the stunning details. In recent years, 13th century Pilgrim Church was remodeled to its original architecture with all its beauty and grandeur. Thanks to Sir Chandrasekhara Venkataraman, a true scientist and a true patriot of India. In the field of medicine, Raman spectroscopy coming with a true revolution. You can literally test for cancer with the handheld instruments at primary care offices or even at a boutique drugstores in coming years. By catching the disease such an early stage dramatically reduces the cost of this fatal disease. A man from heaven gave a remarkable gift to humans. I am proud to share part of his name. Thank you for listening.
That is the oh yeah, let me take that out a little bit. So that is the Raman's effect. We don't know, a lot of people don't know about Raman, but and then the another extraordinary. They're all born on the same day. It's actually the I used to do mobile X-rays. This is a then going. I'm going back to the Marie Curie again. Marie Curie actually did the first she designed the first mobile X-ray unit. That is called a Petite Curie. In the World War One, they used it actually. In the World War One, they she was the so she raised money. The military did not give her money to do the mobile X-ray unit. So she went to the Paris. All the rich Parisians women, including Coco Chanel, she asked money from all these rich women, and they really gave her money, and she bought the 20 units, and she had a lot of women to work in the as a X-ray operators. That's
Wow,
pretty, yeah, it's
that
very.
is wonderful. I mean, I'm just also curious about ramen. Is anybody using those gadgets now?
Yeah, they use in Stanford, they use in Vanderbilt, they use for the contour of what they do is in John Hopkins. What they do is they highlight in this the fluorescent cells. They lighten up, and then they can see through the cancer by shedding by exposing to the Raman spectroscopy. They can see that which ones are different from other ones. So it is particularly in the surgical area, removing the cancers. They're using it right now in Stanford and Vanderbilt. I saw they what they do. So it is a very fascinating. It is coming slowly. Raman spectroscopy was I do a special. Actually, I do have a special one on Raman spectroscopy. But what they do is Raman spectroscopy is actually in the beginning. It was not popular because one of the reason was the spectrum coming out is a very weak. They could not able to recognize it. So now with the laser beams and the ultraviolet, there's a surface spectroscopy, Raman surface enhanced spectroscopy. It can enhance. Now that's coming back because of that new laser machines and all those things. It is making Raman to come back much easier. So that is actually Raman is used everywhere in engineering, very common actually. So,
Yes.
but anyway, the Marie Curie first bullet X-ray that she's did then. I'm going to come back to the just a minute. She's a mother of nuclear medicine because radium was a memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital. They used radium. They used to call radium hospitals. People go there to get cancer treatment in the 1900s. So she's a very she's a she had all woman, including her daughter was an operator there, and she eyed all women, and then she got the money from the Parisian woman because military generals did not give her money to save the French soldiers in the World War One, and she got her own the petite. She used to drive actually. Can you believe that big truck? So she is a truly a feminist in that sense. So so that is that's why she was awarded two Nobel Prizes. One is for discovery of the radium, and the other one is extraction of the radium. She was awarded both physics and chemistry. She's the only woman who won the Nobel Prize in both physics and chemistry so far. It's a she's a in her family there are five Nobel Prizes actually. So her daughter also got the Nobel Prize for the artificial. So 10,000 hospitals became a nuclear medicine is a very common 40 million procedures every year they do in the world. It's a huge nuclear medicine. She's a mother of a nuclear medicine. I used to do nuclear camera and all those things. That is a really. So she died with actually with a radium exposure, the radiation exposure. And then that she was so much she died with this they put a plastic anemia. That's a disease. I don't know, maybe Rajitha knows more about that kind of things. But the radiation is so bad, they have to put a lead coffin, lead around her. And then she was buried in the immortal pantheon in Paris museum. And one of the most immortal, most of the well-known politicians and everybody, Napoleon was there. So these are the people. She was equivalent to all of them. She's not even a French citizen. She came from Poland, and she was awarded. So she came to the United States. So that is the Mary Curie. She died in July 4th actually. Raman spectroscopy, she's asking about it, is a drug efficacy, cancer diagnostics, nanomedicine. Actually, is going to be big. Raman spectroscopy is going to be big in nanomedicine. That a forensics, we can do a lot of these things. You can do. So you saw the video already. Uh, so now Raman spectroscopy is in the Mars. Perseverance Mars rover as the Raman spectroscopy looking for the biological life, because spectroscopy can tell vibrational spectrum. It can tell whether there's a life or not. It's called Sherlock. It's a scanning habitable environmental with Raman and luminescence. That's what they call. It's a big name, but Raman is named there. So it is right now he's looking for the life on Mars. So so Raman also did a very interesting thing. He wanted to find out there is a paper that came in they found out in the Israel a piece of cloth that is written in the Hebrew language, or Aramaic. I don't know, some kind of a language is written, probably that before previous Hebrew, I think. So, but a lot of religious people they suspected that is not it in that one in these writings it mentioned Jesus was married. That's a big question, big debate among the Christians. And then they took it to so they want to find out whether this really came from 2000 years ago or not. So only Raman spectroscopy can tell. He did say that as a Raman spectroscopy said that yes, it came from 2000 years ago. It's confirmed that whether married or not, that is a refer to Jesus. I have no knowledge of that, but that's what he validated that document. But but Adam, this is the third one I wanted to. They're all born on the same day. That's why I was mentioning Lisa Meitner. She's a Jewish woman. She is a nurse. Actually, she was a nurse. She is a chemist, and she is a physicist. She was a What she was doing is during the World War One. She learned a lot of physics, and she was doing X-ray operator. She became an X-ray operator. They call nurse operators at the time. They used to call them nurse operator. So she was operating 1930 first World War One. She was doing x-rays, and then she is the atom bomb. She gave a complete mathematical structure and all the designs for the atom bomb. And
Oh,
she felt very bad about it, and then she gave all the mathematics. Then the Einstein took the E is equal to mc square next, but she gave the actual engineering, actual mathematics behind it completely. She was awarded so many things. She came to Brand Mall College in Philadelphia. That is at the end of her life. She came down in 81 years old. She came to visit the students there in the middle picture. She was awarded 10 honorary degrees. She was awarded so many prizes, and she's Austria. She's from Austria. So she's a truly a polymath, and she is a nurse. She was doing a first. She did a lot of nurse, checking the soldiers for the X-ray in X-ray at the time. So these are three extraordinary people. I want them born on the same day, so I want to mention all of them. So let's get back to that's we need more people to help humanity. That's like now. Thank you for listening. We need more people like Rajitha help everybody, nurses, doctors. Let me bring to the yeah. So
Yeah, thank
Rajitha,
you
tell
for
us a little
bringing
bit
that to
about it.
light.
Huh?
Thank you for bringing that to light on those three individuals.
Yeah. Thank you.
You have good
But
job.
just I wanted to, when you look at the history point of view, historical point of view, it makes more connected. That's why history is very important. I realized, when I grow, that history makes things much more understanding, clear, and why they did that. It makes you compelled to read more about them. That's my goal. That's why it is one of the thing is that we are going through a lot of tremendous pressures nowadays. Everybody is go through in the whole entire world is going through a mental crisis. It's a technological crisis, job crisis, financial crisis, family crisis. It becoming amplified. I don't know why, Rajita, but everybody is going through some kind of crisis. How
Yeah.
do we, because of that luxuries, we thought that we is going to help us, but it's also increased the pressures on us. So, how do we deal with this present day situations? Do you have any solutions?
I have just finished through training. This is called cognitive based compassion training. It's in short CBCT. It is very much evidence based program. And this was started by Dr. Nagy at Emory. CBCT is really designed
His
to.
name is
Oh,
Chandrasekhara.
sorry. Okay, go ahead, please.
So CBCT is really designed to reduce the narrow, self-oriented people thinking into strengthening the care and considering consideration for others, because its goal is to really,
How,
um,
what do you say that? What is that name?
bring
Cognitive?
that cognitive-based compassion therapy.
Yeah, cognitive.
In short, it's CBCT. Because the
The-
goal is of CBCT is to begin with innate capacity to take care of others, and foster the growth and expansion of this capacity into a spontaneous compassionate response.
Mhm.
So first is in this program it teach you how to first take care of yourself. First be self-compassionate.
You
And
mentioned last time, if you don't, sorry to interrupt you 1 second. You
yeah,
mentioned last time, and it stayed in my brain. It's that you write something that you forgive yourself, or you write. Tell us a little bit about that. I like that actually.
yeah, that's called expressive writing. It's we have like so many thoughts going on in our head, and what happens as these thoughts are coming and flooding us, it just goes into our subconscious and stays, and that's what reflects over time in our physical being and our actions and our behaviors. So what I there is evidence on that. Dr. Pennybaker wrote quite a bit of research on that. Is called expressive writing. Whatever is in your head, you write it down on a scrap piece of paper. It does not have to be grammatically correct or anything. You just scribble whatever is on in your head, and then tear it and throw it out. So that way you are downloading everything from your head and onto the paper,
Yeah.
and then disconnecting those
I
emotions.
do that quite a bit actually. After you told me that, I started doing that, and it's
That
really
help?
effective.
Does that help you?
Yeah, it does help me. Yes,
Yeah, people think that's silly, but it does help.
it
It's
does help you.
a lot of evidence in there. It does help because whatever I talk here, it's completely evidence based.
Yeah. Tell
So
me about your website. What is your website actually?
it's called healthyucenter.com. There's
HealthyJuiceCenter.com. Isn't
Yeah,
the
there's
written
only
on the
one you between healthy and you. So yeah, that's
what
where information is.
what kind of programs you offer? Somebody comes to you and then a lot of pressures, whatever the pressure they come to you. What do you do? First thing that you do.
First, initially, try to understand them and get their assessment and understand them and what their goals are. Because, when somebody says something, you're not going to automatically do it, right? That you might do it for a few days, but it's not going to stick. So the goal here is to draw your goals. What is your goal more specific to you? What is your long term goal? And then break it up into those short goals and then understand according to the situation and start the coaching program that is completely driven by you. You are the ones that's directing your care. By doing that, you are more accountable and you follow through with the program.
Rajita, you and me came from the same state. Actually, we are yes, a lot of programmers, a lot of computer guys are from our state. They all go through this kind of a mental pressure. So they need, and they sit down and they do eat bad food. It is, you have any special thing for them? So many of them here in this country and in India, they go through this computer people. You have any specific program for them that really helps them a little bit?
Yes, again, I want to bring it back to that CBCT program. It is very effective in stress management techniques because it has that capacity to recruit that individual self because it really goes deep into you understanding you first. Understanding you first, connecting with yourself, and caring for yourself, and then it extends to others, looking at others and motivates you to help and care for others because again in this world, you know we are all from different parts of the world. We all are from different cultures, but we all share a common humanity. Is everybody wants to be happy. They are looking for that happiness, thinking outside is that happiness. I earn more money, I have a bungalow, I have a car, I will be happy. But you and I know, even though you have tons of money, at the end of the day, you might not be happy. So it's really digging into yourself, trying to understand you. There is some series, it's like an 8-week program series of meditative practices, understanding, what is that compassion. And there is so much of evidence on that because they have done lab testing, MRI measures on those blood flows of the brain, what's happening with these meditative practices on compassion. They have seen experienced meditators have shown dramatic increase in their gamma waves.
Yeah, we're coming to an end. I wanted to ask you about the effect of prayer. My friend is a Dr. Japra is one of the leading community activists, and he always talks about yoga, karma yogi, and then that divinity. And so, let us talk about a little bit about that prayer, power of the prayer. Whatever the religion you're from, and that's power of prayer. My kids are from Christian, they do both of them, all of them. So we do. What is the power of prayer does that for the mind?
Oh, it has tremendous effect. It's that prayer, the hope, the belief that you have. You are surrendering yourself to that higher power, and then that's where it is. Like, even they have been studies that were done, like somebody is sick in one part of the world and another group of people far away, they are praying for that person, and that really showed their outcomes, their improved better outcomes on that person. Just that prayer for that person, that intention and that prayer, it's huge. um, every single morning, I don't leave my house without a prayer. That's how
Super.
I've been grown up all along, and that's what I practice. I have a separate room, and I do my prayer no matter what. I don't.
I do the same thing. Thank you. It's a pleasure, delightful to talk with you always. Something I learned from you. You're very, you're very balanced and you give a very good wisdom for all of us. I think it is a very valuable for all of us, including doctors, nurses. Everybody can learn and yeah, follow the holistic approach. That is Rajitha Bommakanti. She is healthy. What is her website again? Healthyucenter.com.
Healthyucenter.com.
Healthyucenter.com, and go and check it, guys. Thank you so much. Good night, all of you. Good
Thank you
night.
for having me, Ramana.
Thank you. Thank you for. I'm honored to have you anytime. Bye, all of you. Just.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.